Hi guys, welcome back, and today I'll be doing the next part for What If King Cold Went to Namek instead of the Ginyu Force. Now last time we left off with the Buu saga starting and the tournament just beginning to kick off. Now like normal, Goten and Trunks end up fighting in the end of the kids division, and this fight is very close, probably being a bit more dramatic than the last time. One Bud bonus here is that both are pretty much level pegging and also able to use Super Saiyan thanks to the fact Cell never announced Cell games. So both kids have a really good fight, with the power being very close, like I've already mentioned. However, I'm still going to give the edge to Trunks here. I believe he would have been pushed just a little bit harder than Goten because of Vegeta, meaning that he has just a small bit of an edge. So Trunks wins this one and goes on to fight Mr. Satan in the end, with him knocking Mr. Satan out of the ring like normal. And like normal, the champ tries to pull off explaining how he let the kid win, and unlike Canon, not everyone here believes him. He's not as famous as he used to be. Keep in mind, the Cell games were never announced, he never took all the credit for them, so right now he's just a world martial arts champion. So yeah, everyone sort of just sees him like that. So he probably sways over about 50% of the crowd, but the other 50% think he's full of crap. Now, the actual tournament, with the first round being Krillin versus Yamcha, with this battle being very close thanks to the fact Yamcha has Kaioken. However, Krillin is able to hold his own thanks to the fact he has the instant transmission and the Ardratian clone technique. Eventually I would put Krillin to come out on top, and following this match is Piccolo versus Shin. With Piccolo like normal leaving the fight, but this time not because he believes he couldn't win. I believe Piccolo has the potential to win here, but more so because Kami had asked him telepathically to not fight, with Kami now filling in Piccolo a little bit about the Kais. With this going on during the battle between Videl and Spopovich, with me happily being able to say that for the second time in a row, I can avoid the pain of letting Videl get beaten to near death. Thanks to the fact she had a good bit of training here, and she also learnt from the entire Sun family, I would believe that Videl does manage to win the fight. And in all my future what ifs, if it's absolutely at all possible or believable that I can put Videl on top here, I will try my best. But for now, I've got a 2-for-2 record and I'm going good. So I'm going to say Videl doesn't leave this fight completely unharmed. She's still pretty messed up, and Gohan still believes she needs a senzu bean. She's having a hard time standing, and this is mostly because she isn't as well trained. After all, her dad isn't as famous, so she's probably not as well trained, but she still enjoyed martial arts. So Gohan flies out to grab Videl, takes her back into the tournament healing area, and gets her a senzu bean. Now, after this is done, Gohan's pretty pissed off. When he heads into the arena to fight Kibito, he's making sure that he shows off his power, not only to just sort of get it out of him, get the anger out of his system, but also to scare Spopovich. With him not jumping up to Super Saiyan 2, he jumps up only to Super Saiyan. With this actually being stronger than him canon self, this is a perfect opportunity for the Margins to jump him, which is what they do actually. Spopovich and Yamu do jump up, and like normal they take his energy. Then from here things start to fall into canon a little bit, but there is one small change, well two for a matter of fact. You see, Goten and Trunks are coming to fight with the group this time. Thanks to Goku thinking that they're well enough trained that they can learn something in real combat, they begin to, start pushing the boys to get used to an actual fight. So this is a pretty good chance to test them out. And also, Tien walks over to Gohan, who is on the floor and is being healed by Kibito, and Tien also begins to heal the child. One thing he learnt from Yardrat was this. He thought it would be helpful for any upcoming battles. He's falling behind because of the fact the Saiyans are Saiyans, but if he can help in any way, Tien will take this opportunity. And thanks to the fact there's two sets of healing hands going on here, Gohan's up much faster and actually catches up with the group much easier, with everyone arriving to see the normal event of Spopovich and Yamu getting killed and having their energy taken. And like normal, Dabura goes to kill some group members. He kills Kibito like normal, then turns to spit on some of the group. Him going to spit on both Krillin and Piccolo like canon. Now, unfortunately for Krillin, he isn't anywhere near fast enough to avoid this. He got his hands into a position to use the instant transmission to hopefully avoid the attack, but the petrification still happens, with Krillin only being a few inches away from being able to teleport away. And following behind that is Piccolo. Piccolo here has a chance, and I'm going to give him the edge. Thanks to the fact Piccolo is much stronger, his reaction time is much better, and also he was maybe a bit on guard. He quickly threw off his weights out in front of him, saving him from the spit and from the petrification. And this still leaves him in a condition to fight. And now everyone's determined to head back into the, ship and sort out whatever's happened to Krillin, with the Kais explaining that this will work if they kill Dabura. So everyone heads in. Now the group all get ready to head in, and once they get in and see Pui Pui as their first opponent, they all begin to play rock, paper, scissors. And for this, I've just put everyone's name into a random generator to see what happens. And the likes of both Tien, Piccolo, Goten, Trunks are all joining in. And I'm going to have a lot of fun with this. So first up, we have Trunks versus Pui Pui. And Trunks is looking forward to doing this. He's never really been in a true fight, so this is a bit of experience. With Vegeta shouting on his son to finish this fight fast. So Kid Trunks wants getting used to the high gravity, which doesn't really even affect him. He quickly blasts up to Super Saiyan, knocking out the alien with ease. Now, I believe Trunks could probably do this in his base. However, he used SSJ just to make sure he could confirm the knockout. So next up, we have the battle against Yakon. We see Gohan step in here. You see, Gohan, after watching Trunks, decided he wanted a turn to show off his power. And the fight goes very different from how Goku would have done it. Unlike his father from canon, Gohan doesn't want to overfeed Yakon. It would give off too much energy. And instead of this, he charges the alien and lets out a small light, which the alien goes to absorb. Well, Gohan, thinking fast, quickly knees the alien's mouth shut, leading it to not be able to absorb energy temporarily. However, this is enough for Gohan. He forms his hands into a Masenko, shooting off an energy, piercing the alien straight away, with it not killing it, but leaving it in a state of near death. Gohan's happy he dealt with this fast enough, and decides that the group will be heading on from here. And in the final room, this is where we see Dabura sit, with Babidi being slightly nervous right now, as he doesn't quite have enough energy, but he's very close. And all he's really going to need is just a small amount of energy, not loads, just a little bit. Thanks to the likes of Gohan being stronger here in his Super Saiyan state, it led to Babidi getting nearly enough energy just from that. So he's ready and is just needing a small bit more energy. He does initially try to mind control people, but likes of Vegeta, who is probably the easiest one to turn, is too good at the moment. He's known Goku for years and he's in a much mentally better state. After all, both Saiyans are about the same level when it comes to power. So he's pretty happy with his place in life. Now, like I said, they're in the room with Dabura, and Dabura knows he needs to drag out this fight, so he's hoping for someone weak enough that he can do that. Now, everyone plays rock, paper, scissors, and Goten is the winner, meaning that he will be fighting Dabura, with Goten being pretty nervous about this being his actual first real fight. After all, Trunks got someone who was quite weak, and from what Goten can sense, this guy is really strong. But the kid stands his ground, with Dabura feeling really insulted that a child was just sent in, charging the young Saiyan, trying to kill him, hoping to get a reaction out of some of the older Saiyans to, give them more power. But when he goes to land a blow on the small kid, he jumps up to Super Saiyan, managing to block the attack. With Goten now knowing how close the two are in power from this one clash, he begins to feel a bit more confident. I'm going to put Goten just below Dabura. After all, I think Dabura is about the same strength as Cell, and for the most part, like I've said, I'm giving up with power levels, so it's just going to be whatever I feel is appropriate. So right now we have a Goten who is a bit weaker than this version of Dabura. So Goten then knocks back Dabura using his pure power, and then sends a barrage of Ki Blast towards the Demon King, before following up with a spinning kick, sending Dabura sliding backwards and leaving a bruise on his arm where the kid hit. Dabura, now much more interested in this fight than he was originally, begins to clash with the young Saiyan, with each blow giving enough energy, and slowly Babidi gains a bit more ground and a bit more ground and a bit more ground until finally it's enough. Laughing of pure joy can be heard echoing throughout the entire ship, and this brings a pause to the battle between Deborah and Goten, and everyone's teleported into a new room where Buu's egg lies, letting out energy, letting out smoke. Something's happening here, and Shin's too scared to even really be considering anything. He begins blasting the ball, hoping to take it down, but it's too late. The egg has gained enough energy, and slowly beginning to crawl out of the egg, the monster Buu appears. With Deborah and Buu still sort of having the same first interaction, with this showing off the power of Buu, and everyone is now pretty nervous. But luckily Deborah has been killed, so luckily Krillin is now back and is teleporting down to the group now. Now we see the group stand off against the giant pink monster, with the likes of Yamcha, Tien, Krillin all feeling really out of their league. Heck, even Goten and Trunks are feeling really out of their league. However, everyone knows this is a fight they need to be ready for, with the likes of Goku, Gohan and Vegeta all powering up to Super Saiyan 2, and Trunks going Super Saiyan to join his friend Goten in the form. With the 5 Saiyans hoping that they will be enough to take down Buu, they all get ready to fight. However, Goku and Vegeta decide being the strongest they need to lead this charge, with the two flying straight towards Buu, landing some good blows, but never doing enough damage to take him down. They soon realise how outmatched they are, and they begin to shout out to their sons to get in and help, with both families trying to do any amount of damage to the margin. However, Buu is just taking everything and dealing so much more back. See, the way I'm going to power scale this quickly is compared to Majin Vegeta and Canon. Majin Vegeta and Canon wasn't really able to do anything to the likes of Buu. I'm going to put both Goku and Vegeta quite a fair bit above Majin Vegeta, but even Majin Vegeta and Canon wasn't able to do anything, and now there's 2 people who are a bit stronger than him. This just isn't working out. However, the group are still trying, and even though they are not doing any damage, Buu is starting to get annoyed and he's starting to fight more seriously, and he begins to start fighting back, doing some major damage to the likes of Goten and Trunks, who are really out of their league right now. On the sidelines we see Piccolo and Tien, who are sick of being here, fly straight towards the margin, with Krillin and Yamcha following up behind them. Tien shouts out to Vegeta to use Spirit Fission, with Vegeta flying up close and punching straight into Buu's gut, knocking the margin back a little bit, before shouting out to Goku to get him out of here, with Goku teleporting to Vegeta and teleporting him away before jumping back into the fight. Now, Vegeta begins to use the Spirit Fission technique on the margin, trying to take as much energy as possible, but he's got a lot to cut through and he's making no ground on his own. But this is where Tien gets a quick assist from Krillin. Krillin uses the instant transmission, getting his three-eyed friend close enough to land a jab on the margin again, with this doing nowhere near as much damage as Vegeta, and being more of a quick jab, it just gets him just one hit he needed to make this technique work. He then teleports away thanks to Krillin, and both Vegeta and Tien start draining Majin Buu's energy, trying to pull out as much as they physically can from him, just trying to weaken him enough that their friends will stand a chance in this fight. While these two are doing this from a distance, everyone else is in a battle, trying to hold their own against Buu, with the likes of Yamcha and Krillin being there mostly for assistances. But other than that, the heavy hitters are Goku and Piccolo is beginning to show off some of the techniques he learned thanks to the fact of going to Yardrat. He's using the instant transmission to help himself dodge any major attacks, much like Goku is doing right now, and alongside that Krillin is doing the same. Krillin and Yamcha are playing very much a support role, like I mentioned briefly. Krillin is teleporting around, moving his friends out of harm's way, putting them in better positions to be landing attacks, all of this just to make sure that they're not getting killed straight away. And Yamcha is just trying to hold Buu back by using the Spirit Ball and his Kaioken. It's not doing much, but he's keeping him at bay a little bit, and thanks to the fact there's a lot of energy going around, Krillin has a lot of areas to jump around to. Now, Piccolo, like I said, is one of the biggest hitters they have right now, and this is thanks to something his friend Tien had taught him. At some point, Piccolo realises that he has to use a technique to gain some ground, and the Namekian shouts out Kaioken times 50, with the body of the Namekian turning a deep blood red, making his energy go crazy, and it soon begins to feel like he's about to eclipse Goku in Super Saiyan 2, but he doesn't. there is enough difference between Goku and Piccolo that is noticeable, but the Namekian has definitely closed the gap enough. Now, thanks to this, Piccolo is starting to land some heavier blows on Buu, and with the assistance of Goku and Gohan, they are starting to do a decent amount of damage. And this is also because Buu is beginning to weaker at some point. But something strange happens halfway through the fight. Two people pop out of the margin. And before anyone really has a chance to take in what's happening, Buu's power begins to change, with his energy growing and growing. And this begins to scare Shin, who is happy to see some Kai friends he once knew, but right now it seems like Buu's going back to his purest form. And eventually Kid Buu is born. However, once again, thanks to the fact both Tien and Krillin are still taking his energy, he's not as strong as his canon self, so they have taken quite a significant amount. Now with the new form of Buu being out and rampaging, the group begin to panic. They aren't really ready to be fighting this, and they aren't in a state to be fighting this. Piccolo's starting to feel the effects of the Kaioken wear in. Krillin's feeling a bit fatigued from teleporting so much. Both Goten and Trunks are hardly able to hold their Super Saiyan forms. Goku and Gohan are having a hard time catching their breaths. And Yamcha's feeling the effects of using his Kaioken. The only two people who are in good condition are both Tien and Vegeta, who are staying back, taking energy. Vegeta hates this right now. He wants to be in the fight, helping out. But he knows that the most efficient way for him to do this will be back from a distance. And eventually, when the battle begins to continue, Tien has an idea. He shouts out to the prince that they've got to make a final gambit. Vegeta's going to use his final flash, and he's going to infuse all the energy they've stolen from Buu into his attack. I'll continue taking energy and trying to get through as much as possible, and then, once you're ready, I'm feeding all of it through to you. With Vegeta liking this idea to some degree, he agrees with it, and the group soon realise what they're doing, and begin to try and hold off the best they can. You see, Vegeta's now charging up a Majin Buu sort of infused final flash in his Super Saiyan 2 state. Vegeta's pretty fine here, he's not even really fatigued. Now, after a few minutes, Buu has weakened enough, where Piccolo and Goku working together can just about hold him off. And Tien is now happy that he has collected enough energy that this attack should take him down. After all, they finally started to see just how much he can take and come back. So they're gambling everything on this final flash. Tien shouts out that he's sending everything over to Vegeta, and all the Z fighters begin to move out of the way, with the likes of Goku staying nearby. He's got the instant transmission, he's ready to move out of this situation when need be. Piccolo, also having the instant transmission, stays nearby to give a hand. And eventually, Buu finally hears the cry of final flash as it's shot straight towards him. Just before making impact, Goku moves away using the instant transmission, and Buu begins to get pushed back by the attack. He tries to repair himself, he tries to fight back, but the fact his energy is in there, powering it up, and Tien is still feeding energy into Vegeta, he's not really got a chance. He is nearly completely wiped out before he even leaves the atmosphere. And by the time he's in space, he's nothing. The monster was destroyed by the monstrous beam. This beam was seen all throughout the universe, with many finding it to be a great mystery, like that of those on Vampa. The likes of Broly and Paragus see this. Those on Yardrat sense it and notice it to be Vegeta's, impressed on his growth, and it also seems how he's changed. Namekians see it. Every living thing on the planet sees it. And everyone on Earth who was fighting this fight falls to the floor tired, with it, except the likes of Tien. But he goes around healing all of his friends, making sure they are all okay. Then, when he goes over to the two people that popped out of Buu earlier, he's told by Shin that these are both the Grand Supreme Kai and the South Kai, with the two being shocked that they're back to life, and Shin letting them know what's happened while they've been gone. The Kais are thankful that they've defeated Buu, and are more surprised that mortals had the power in them. And after a bit more time catching up, the Kais leave to go and try and sort out whatever's happened in the universe while they've been gone. With them thanking all the Z fighters, All the Z fighters, after a while of getting healed, head back to the World Tournament, where everything went normal, with 18 winning loads of money thanks to the fact she bribed Mr. Satan. And alongside this, the tournament spectators never got killed, so that's a bonus. Now things here go pretty normal, with a few years going by before anything major happens, with the likes of both Goku and Vegeta continuing to train together. However, both Trunks and Goten do begin to slack off a bit more. Gohan nearly gives up training completely, however thanks to the likes of Videl, once they got married she begins to want him to train with her more. It's only light and it's enough to help her catch up a bit more. But for the most part this is a time of peace, and it's Dragon Ball. Times of peace can never last long. So soon we will see it ruined by a certain god who is looking for the fight of his life and hopes that Earth can entertain him. Now, I'm leaving the story here for now. I hope everyone enjoyed. Have a good day or a great night, and I'll see you next time.